is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbot.
My dog's been taken. This guy is sick. There's something wrong with this guy.
And if you look at the numbers, it really is huge and tremendous, and it's easier to deal with Russia. I just give them everything they want, and they say thank you. It's a beautiful thing. Plus...
We've got a few idiots in our party.
I'm sorry?
We've got a few idiots in our party.
What was that?
We've got a few idiots in our party.
If you say so, Nige. A popular Spanish tourist destination has been hit by a water explosion and raging floods after the region was hit with the most rain it had seen in 70 years, as in ever. Fast-flowing floods turned Murcia's streets into rivers with cars and containers swept away in rushing water. Continued rainfall caused riverbeds to overflow and forced road closures throughout the region. The east, the south and the north of the country, which sounds like everywhere to me, were given yellow and orange warnings.
Warning, warning.
Which made a sort of a yellowy orange. Severe weather, that was what they were warned about earlier this week, and in Murcia and other tourist hotspots, that's exactly what they got. Hotspots including, but not limited to, Malaga, Valencia and Alicante. This comes after the Canary Islands were hit with flash flooding and then snow. Cars were swallowed by raging floods on Gran Canaria on Monday. Heavy rainfall caused landslides on Thursday, flooding homes, garages and other buildings. Vehicles and roads were washed away in raging floods. To date, hundreds of families have lost their homes and thousands have seen their vehicles destroyed. But it can't possibly be because of climate change, because no less an expert than Richard Tice out of the Reform Corporation said that climate change isn't a thing, so that's okay then.
Affirmative.
Would you like to hear what Nigel Farage has to say on the subject?
No.
Meanwhile, in this country, spring has sprung all over us. Brits basked in sunshine and warmth today. We are a nation of baskers. Parts of the southeast were warmer than parts of the continent today. Another Brexit benefit.
Brexit's going great.
And the bright weather will continue for those in the southeast, with sunny skies predicted for the next 4 days. Of course, listeners in Glasgow will get their own weather. I can check on that while you wait. One moment, please. Your call is important to us. Aha! It's raining at the moment. Can you believe that?
Yes.
This is in Glasgow. Raining at the moment in Glasgow, and tomorrow... What? Not raining? Pfft, rubbish. It will be misty on Sunday, which will feel like rain. It'll be raining on Monday, but not on Tuesday or Wednesday or Thursday or Friday or Saturday or Sunday or Monday. Oh, come on. No one's going to believe that. You're not going to get any rain for the whole week. I am stunned, shocked and... Don't get carried away, though. In the south, we haven't seen the back of winter yet. And if it hasn't, we haven't seen the back of winter in the south, then we ain't seen the back of it here, there, or anywhere, baby. Temperatures will begin to cool and could even bring flurries of snow as we move into next week. Snow?
Oh, no.
The Met Office issued a yellow weather warning yesterday for the southeast of England after patches of dense, cold mist were seen forming in the area in early hours. And this could happen any day at this time of year. And if you get caught in mist or fog with limited visibility, you're advised to speed up and take blind corners as fast as you can, because you are special and nothing bad will ever happen to you. Of course, if you're driving a Vauxhall hatchback, you will already be doing this.
Thank you.
Appreciate your cooperation. Would you like to hear the long-range forecast for the next 4 weeks?
No.
Mostly dry and bright and sunny tomorrow. Mostly. Mild on Sunday, turning colder on Tuesday and Monday. But not in that order. Then, the middle 2 weeks of March. Northeasterly winds, showers in the north, snow to high ground, temperatures expected to be below normal. Not very good, is it? Then, last week in March, first week in April, blimey, it's practically summer already. Autumn just around the corner, almost time to put up the decorations for Jesus' birthday. Last week in March, first week in April, unsettled, wet and windy for the end of March, but into early April, drier and more settled weather, and temperatures will probably be above average. Drier and more settled weather and temperatures will probably be above average. We'll take it. 0345 6060 973. Tony in Tottenham texts the following. Nigel Farage has done a Donald Trump and made sure his competitor... Yeah, okay. maybe I'll think about the rest of that and think about saying it later. I'll think about it. Trust me, Tony, I'm thinking about it right now. Rochester, hello, Lulu.
Oh, hello, Nick, darling.
Lulu.
How are you, darling?
I am great, mate. Stop calling me darling.
I love you, darling. Hey, listen, Nick, now your glamorous assistant didn't know this story, but I'm sure you must know about the transgender mice.
Are you talking about America?
Where else?
Yes. There weren't transgender mice.
No, of course not. And any person with a functioning intellect would look at that story and think, oh, I need to look into this further.
Any person with a functioning intellect, that is right.
Don't be rude.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, to go on national TV. Did you see him? There was him in the front and Vance and Holy Mike, you know, that God-bothering moron.
Yeah.
And they were guffawing away when he said transgender mice. They thought it was hilarious. And I thought, oh, what a contrast. You know, you two being the hard men the previous week, you know, against Zelensky. And now you're just showing the world what utter credulous morons you are.
Planks.
Yeah, and, you know, but it's funny, but it's scary because, you know, Trump is such a moron. Someone could tell him something. He'd misunderstand it.
Lulu, what is that noise in the background?
Oh, that's Madame Zazou, my cat.
Oh, well, your cat sounds like it needs attention immediately.
Oh, she's just she's an attention seeker.
It's going.
I know, she drives me
What does that
nuts.
mean? Have you fed it yet?
I've fed her all evening, but she's just, continually hungry.
I don't think that's hungry. That's attention. Your cat knows that you're not paying attention to it,
God
so
forbid.
it is very upset with you.
Yeah, aren't they just absolute prima donnas? I'm going to go and give her a little tap on the nose.
No, don't do that. Give her a sweetmeat, something like that.
Yeah. I'll go and give her a lot of kisses on her little furry head.
You know what she probably wants around about now?
What's that?
A transgender mouse. Thanks a lot, Lulu. 0345 6060 973. Pauline Kent says, hello, Nick. American voters have been booing their elected representatives recently. The Republicans are claiming that the unhappy booing voters in the red states are, in fact, Democrats who have been brought out and paid to cause mischief. Unfortunately, the mullet-head, poorly tattooed, wobbly, tombstone-teethed, uneducated will completely believe that. I'm very disappointed with Americans. Yeah, I'm very disappointed with Americans. Yeah, I'm surprised they didn't say, well, the people in the red states, they heard that Bruce Springsteen was touring and they're getting in their Bruce early. The last president was so bad they're still booing him. Something like that. Yeah, it didn't take very long, did it? He is the second, at this point in his presidency, he is, of all the presidents, the second least popular at this point in his presidency. Do you know who the number one spot belongs to? Donald Trump the first time round.
Oh, shut up!
Yeah, he is 1 and 2 in the least popular presidents in the history of America at this point in their presidency. Number 1 and 2. And Americans, their response to this was to vote for him again.
I love the poorly educated.
If that is indeed what happened, although there is mounting evidence that, a certain drugged-up billionaire actually messed with the voting machine. And I'm sorry, Donnie, but you didn't win. You will not maintain your position in the White House. You will go to jail. You will go straight to jail for the rest of your life. Fingers crossed. That's what I'm looking forward to. Although having quite evidently made a deal with the devil, I'm pretty sure that that's not going to happen to Donnie. This text says, hi, Nick. After their bust-up, Trump wants to dispose of Zelensky, but it's Trump who's the unpopular one who needs to go. Dispose of him? What, you mean like that, under a bridge? Vance once called him a morally Vance once called him morally reprehensible. Trump, you mean? His wife wears anti-kissing armor. She does. Trump's wife wears anti-kissing armour. That is just correct. She does. And it's plain to see even his makeup artist can't stand him. Well, that is absolutely true. Plus, he's 20 points behind Zelensky domestically. Yeah. You're doing very, very badly, particularly with women.
I will be so great to women. I cherish women.
Yeah, be comforted by that, women. He cherishes you with both hands.
Touch, feel, that's what I do.
That's what he does, yeah. You can do that when you're famous. Tell us about that again, Donny. Locker room talk. 0345 6060 973. Here is, Bristol. Hello, Jenny.
Hello.
Jenny.
Nick, how's your cough? I was driving back from Hastings to Croydon and you started coughing and my daughter was with me and she fell asleep just past Battle. And then when she woke up and we were in Croydon, she goes, Mum, he's still coughing.
Yeah, that was a while ago, wasn't it? That was a couple of weeks ago.
Yeah, it was.
Oh,
it
yeah.
was. Okay.
I must have disturbed dust in here or something like that. Yeah.
Yes, but did you try any of the remedies? The honey, the ginger, the...
No. Don't want anything like that. You just tough it out, Jenny.
Okay, I've sorted it. Done. We've sorted the world's problems.
Finally. Took a while.
Hugh Grant for Prime Minister.
Hugh Grant for Prime Minister.
Yeah, let's do it.
Well, I bet Hugh Grant has a finger in the air to register a complaint. He might not want to actually take on that thankless task.
Oh, I don't know whether Trump is cleverer than we think he is.
No. Let me remove all doubt. No.
Are you sure?
Yes.
Then this is a dream. Well, we got to wake up. What the hell's going on?
It's not a dream, Jenny. It's a nightmare. And we're living it. So get used to it. Until the alarm bell goes, this is our life for the foreseeable future.
Do we need to... I've got a bunker in my house. Do you know that? Do we need to extend it? Yeah.
Well, don't build up. Don't put a floor on top of your bunker. That's the best advice I can give you.
Okay.
All right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thanks a lot, Jenny. 0345 60. Always go out or down if you're going to extend a bunker, not up.
This is LBC with Nick Abbott. Call 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
This is preposterous!
Everything about this is preposterous, there's no doubt about it. Text from Gary in Anglesey says, after hearing that Brian Glenn was named as the reporter who questioned President Zelensky about his dress code, I was unsurprised to learn that his partner is the House of Representatives Republican member Marjorie Taylor Greene. And if you don't know Marjorie Taylor Greene, I'll sum her up in sound. She, says Gary, is a far-right Republican who claimed secret Jewish space lasers were the cause of California wildfires and that earthquakes are weather events. Taylor Greene offers unwavering support for Trump in the same manner that Nadine Dorris did with Boris Johnson in the UK. Is it possible these individuals could be suffering from the same intellectual deficiency, and what could possibly go wrong? Yeah, Marjorie Taylor Greene looks at Donald Trump like she's in love, L-U-V. Is she really going out with him? Hey, the guy out the dam died. Brian James out of the dam died.
Rock and roll!
So did Roy Ayers. I don't have anything for Roy Ayers. Maybe this. That's about as close as I can get. I don't have anything in between.
Rock and roll!
And absolutely nothing in between. Well, I suppose this. Yeah, that more sums up Roy Ayers. Thanks for the music, Roy Ayers. And thanks for the music, Brian James, out of The Damned.
Rock and roll!
And by the way, yes, she really is going out with him. Merthyr Tydfil. Hello, Jeff.
Hi, Nick. I was thinking it's not the cough that carries you off, it's the coughing that they carry you off.
These are the jokes, folks. A listener with material.
Oh, no. No.
Yes, yes.
No. It's not. It's an old saying.
Right. Okay. A joke, you mean? Mm-hmm.
No. I was listening to LBC earlier on this evening, and I was minding my own business, and a guy came on, and I don't know what his name was. He was on earlier on this evening, and he said, and I quote, speaking with perspicacity and erudition like you do, and he said that the Attorney General in Panama, after Trump had threatened to invade because China has the ports at either end of the Panama Canal, the Attorney General said, "Oh, it's not right that they should have it," and made some move to take the Chinese ownership away. But before he did anything, the Chinese companies at either end of the Panama Canal sold to BlackRock.
BlackRock, yeah. And you know what BlackRock own?
Oh, yeah. Nice crowd.
Well, everything.
Yeah.
Jeff, a check underneath you, because probably at your undermost carriage is probably stamped property of BlackRock.
A presenter with material. Oh.
I'm allowed.
Okay. But the thing is, how did that happen?
It happened, but yeah, very, very quickly. Yeah. Well, you know,
it didn't make the news.
Oh, it did make the news. Sure, it did. I mean, I don't know about it didn't make the Sun, or it probably wasn't in the Mirror, but it was in the news. It was reported for sure.
Must have been somewhere.
Yeah.
But I didn't see it on any other national news media. And these things that are happening are sidelined by the madness that is taking place.
Well, that's the plan. That's the reason why it's a tsunami of crazy, is because they're trying to discombobulate you. They're trying to make you confused and overwhelmed. They call it flooding the zone.
That's what Steve Bannon in his book that shows the way for the neoliberal takeover of the world. He said, flood the place with four-letter expletive.
Right, exactly, yeah. And then people won't know what to concentrate on because there's just this blizzard of misinformation that's coming their way. And by the time they fact-check one lie, then Donald Trump has already issued 56,000 other lies. You just can't keep up. That's the plan. And you read Steve Bannon's book, Jeff?
I'm an avid follower of Steve Bannon. He's a leftover hippie from my era, and he looks it.
His best before date was probably the 1970s. Yeah,
you've got it. And I tell you what, everything he's predicted, it's coming true.
Well,
and this,
partly because he's engineering it to become true.
Trumpy's not leaving at the end of 4 years.
No, definitely not. He ain't going nowhere.
You have prophesied a public execution.
Yes.
Before the end of the year.
Mm-hmm.
I chuckled at that, but I'm beginning to worry about it.
Yeah,
okay?
no, I bet you. I bet there's public executions on television by the time that Trump's second term is up. By which I mean...
They're shooting somebody in South Carolina in a couple of hours' time.
Shooting them?
Yeah, public execution by firing squad.
That's unusual. That's unusual, isn't it?
A murderer from 2001. He did a double murder. He's been on death row for 20 plus years.
And they're going to shoot him?
Shoot him now.
But I didn't think America did that. I thought they did nice execution. The kind of executions that you can recover from.
Yeah, sort of killing them, Yeah, no, this apparently is a shoot-in.
Right.
I don't know whether it's going to be public. I don't know. But
so I can't believe that I was completely correct in every respect, and this is a giant leap towards public executions on national television. Now, I would imagine that Donald Trump would try to make it pay-per-view, And you can pay your $20 to the Donald Trump organization for the advancement of niceness, or whatever it is that he comes up with at the time, that he can make some more money off this. But that's where we're going.
Yeah, it's going to be happy times. £25 to Nigel Farage's limited company is going to be nothing to this show.
Yeah, you're not even providing us with executions, Nige. What do we get for the money? Good point. All right, thanks a lot, Jeff. The US will conduct its first execution by firing squad in 15 years on Friday. Is that this Friday? Let me see the date on this. Friday the 7th. No, that's today. So maybe next week. Or maybe it is today. I've got no idea. This is despite widespread concerns about the safety. The safety and the cruelty. Well, yes, that part. Yeah, this method of killing and growing calls for clemency. Brad Sigmund, scheduled to be shot to death by 3 South Carolina prison employees. They'll take him out when he comes out of the showers. He doesn't know it yet. America does seem to be more and more like it is being run by the Sopranos, don't it?
Absolutely.
Yeah, give this to Clemenza. After a 13-year pause in killings due to limited supplies to carry out executions, the state now directs men on death row to choose their method of... Oh, you get to choose. Electric chair, lethal injection, or firing squad. Or, in a new change that's just been announced, you get to drive through a liberal area in a Tesla. Sigmund chose to be shot dead out of fear that the lethal injection would result in a prolonged death, following reports that the last 3 South Carolina men to be killed by pentobarbital, a sedative, took more than 20 minutes to die. This is a happy story. Not really. And it goes on, and there's pictures and everything. Good grief. What a way to run a country, eh?
Dreadful.
Shocking. 0345 6060 973. Bell texts, I think Zelensky's trip to the Oval Office could have been worse. What if Trump's angry press secretary had been there? She is furious, isn't she? I mean, I don't know where she came from or what she's done previously, but if she has been this permanently angry in previous jobs, no wonder she's not in them anymore. I suppose that she has left all sense of morals and duty to her country behind in order to get shouted at by an orange Oompa Loompa and his crazy minions. Have you noticed that they say President Trump at least once every sentence? President Trump has done this, and President Trump has been very clear that President Trump has been very clear about President Trump being very clear. I mean, Kim Jong-un doesn't get a name check like that. President Trump, President Trump, President Trump. So they're trying to smash the idea into our brains. We know he wangled the job one way or the other, probably the other. We get it. We just want President Trump. This text says, I don't understand Trump. 1 minute he's defending Russia. Now on LBC News he's admitting the Russians are bombing the hell out of Ukraine. Well, how are the two in any way different? How are they different? He's admiring Vladimir Putin. Well, you know, there's this thing that some wag asked Grok, which is Elon Musk's artificial intelligence thing, about whether Donald Trump is a Russian asset. Did you read that? Came out with a very, very, very long answer, which said, in a nutshell,
yes.
Yes, he is. Yeah. All available evidence points to yes. Griffin Elton says, we're 47 days into Trump's reign, only another 7 years to go. No, much longer than that. He is not giving up that title until it is plucked out of his enfeebled hands by Lurch, his son, who will probably, as you know, an act of defiance, and to show that he really is taking over, will probably bury his dad alive, you know, just for effect. Because it's not going to go to his 2 grown-up idiot sons, you know, Uday and Kusei. It's not going to go to him or the other him. It's going to go to Lurch, because Lurch has got the look of, I don't know, about him, doesn't he? Like grown-up Damien. Gabriel in Hackney says, I was riding my bike earlier in the week through Crouch End. Uh-oh. Crouch End?
Warning, warning.
Are you insane? He says, I was riding my bike earlier in the week through Crouch End, keeping an eye out for the usual signs of traffic, such as cars pulling out of pedestrians wandering into the road. Cars pulling out of pedestrians wandering into the road. Wow. Well, that's NFCE, normal for Crouch End. He says, what I didn't expect was a scaffolder to appear from the sky, jumping off the roof of a van right into my path, making me take evasive action, almost riding into oncoming traffic. Truly terrifying. Well, that's scaffolders for you. They're a breed apart, scaffolders are. And how their fees work, nobody knows. They charge you to put it up, and then they charge you to take it down, and what happens in between? Well, it's yours until you pay them to take it away. And the amount that it costs to take it away bears no relation to the amount of time it takes them to do that. But, you know, I'm not one to complain about the cost of building.
Whinging and whining and moaning.
A little bit.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Oh, well, let's just pick one at random.
Hello.
There you go. I was concentrating on other things. Josie texts, evening Nick, as you are reading out the weather and spring has sprung, I went out for a drive today with my dogs, just driving around country lanes. I found a lovely wooded area which is all primroses, and then drove to Burley House for another walk and a coffee. I expected that to be going somewhere, but it wasn't. So many daffodil blossoms out. Groovy, says Josie. Well, thanks for the update on your day, Josie. As soon as anything else develops, I want you to let me know straight away, all right? Clive in Sydney says, Nick, meanwhile in Australia, tropical cyclone Alfred is smashing the east coast of Australia with 1 metre of rain in 24 hours.
What?
Wow. 1 metre of rain in 24 hours. And currently 200,000 households are without electricity. First time in 50 years there's been a cyclone this far south. Thanks a lot, Meghan Markle, says Clive in Sydney. I just looked today because, I mean, you know, every now and again it just gets so silly. Here are Meghan Markle headlines in one day in the Mail Online. Exclusive, phony, inauthentic and not fun. Netflix comedian gives scathing review of Meghan Markle's new cookery show, telling fans she's no Martha bleeping Stewart. And who is this Netflix comedian? Why, it's Christina Pazitsky. And I know what you're thinking. Who? Christina Pazitsky, a successful stand-up, it says here, best known as Christina P, P stands for Pazitsky. You're way ahead of me. She has concluded that the Duchess of Sussex is no Martha bleeping Stewart in a new blow to the streaming giant and Prince Harry's wife. Okay, so that was a long headline, but I thought that you would benefit from the full details. So that's one. Two, Meghan Markle's family favourite spaghetti bears a striking resemblance to another chef's recipe. Another chef's recipe?
Oh, no.
You could say that of any recipe. Everything's been done under the sun. 3. Can Meghan really call herself Sussex? What royal protocol says about her preferred name by Rebecca English, who may have been chosen because her second name is English. 4. Meghan is overwhelmed by love as she affectionately bats her eyelashes while speaking about Prince Harry with Drew Barrymore, body language expert claims. What are we up to now? 5. Director harassed manager by saying Jeremy Clarkson's dream that Meghan Markle would one day be paraded naked through the streets was unoffensive tribunal rules. Did you get that?
No.
No, me neither. Royal fans accuse Meghan Markle of being a hypocrite, changing name to Meghan Sussex after footage from her 2021 Oprah interview shows that shows claiming she nearly lost my name after joining the firm. Did you get that?
No.
No, me neither. How Prince Harry and Meghan's explosive interview with Oprah really made Prince Philip feel as he battled poor health and the Sussexes refused to postpone the ill-timed broadcast. Awkward moment. Meghan Markle is caught off guard when emotional Drew Barrymore surprises her with a photo of Diana during interview to Plug Cookery Show. Byrony Gordon says, what Meghan did after we had lunch together tells you everything about her. Meghan Markle's 6-word jab to Drew Barrymore over her clingy behaviour in awkward interview. Richard Eden says, Meghan's warning shot to the royals that everyone's missed, revealed to me by palace insiders who tell me the real reason she's suddenly so keen on Sussex name. Royal fans accuse Meghan Markle of being a hypocrite for wanting to change her name to Meghan Sussex after footage from her infamous 2021 Oprah interview shows her emotionally saying how she nearly lost my name after experiencing a loss of identity. It does appear as though they're taking the same story and putting multiple headlines on it and pretending it's a new story. Internet trolls accuse Meghan Markle of being incredibly rude to her friend Mindy Kaling in awkward exchange on new Netflix show. Meghan Markle's high-low Netflix wardrobe. Duchess wears £70 Zara dress with £24,000 Cartier jewellery. The Mail's royal experts reveal why they lost the will to live during Meghan Markle's Netflix series. If only. Meghan Markle's new show may look like a rebrand as she doesn't mention the royals once, but she can't help sly digs and showing off how perfect life is outside the firm. And finally, Jan Moyer says, Meghan's new show seems like a bowl of consommé, strained and thin. Does she even enjoy it herself? I mean, if the Mail was a person, they'd be in jail now for stalking. What is happening over there? I suppose people are reading it because they keep printing it. It's the same reason they keep printing pictures of David Beckham and his assorted brood. It's because people keep looking at it. They know you're looking at those pictures. If you click at it online, they know you're looking at it. They have the numbers. Let's have East Lothian. Hello, Dave.
Hello.
Dave.
Yeah.
Yes, Dave.
I would like to say, Nick, that I've got an apology to make, that I think I'm related to Donald Trump.
You are?
Yeah. His mother was born on the island of Lewis in 1912.
Yeah.
My grandmother was born there in 1898. Now, they were both named MacLeod. And the chances of them not being related back then on the island of Lewis are fairly slim.
But are you saying that your grandmother was Donald Trump's mother?
No. Donald Trump's mother was Mary MacLeod, born on 1912 on the island of Lewis.
Yes.
My grandmother was born 14 years earlier, also MacLeod.
Yes.
On the island of Lewis. Now, the chances of two Lewises not being related on the island at that time are fairly slim.
Yes. Now, you're saying that your grandmother was Donald Trump's mother's mother?
No. I'm saying that on the island of
Lewis, yes, it's very unlikely that two people...
Two MacLeods...
Very unlikely, yeah.
The clan of MacLeod on Lewis...
Yes.
The chances of them not being related
very slim.
Were very slim.
Very slim, yeah. Well, you
And I proposed that I may, because I'm suffering from cancer, would love to go over to the States and put cousin Donald right. Unfortunately, it would involve G.D. Vance as well. But
Right. A two for one. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, we should make some sort of a whip round happen in your benefit and for the benefit.
A giving page.
A giving page. Yeah. Exactly right. Yeah. All right. Good work there, Dave, and excellent rooting around the family tree. But I'd keep it to yourself from now on. All right.
Well, I try to because it's hardly an advantage in life.
No, it's definitely not. No.
No.
All right. Okay. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. He's related, not in a sort of a Southern American ding-a-ling way. I mean, he's not his own brother or his own father, for that matter. You know, but distant relations. Clive in Sydney says, no, read that. Ian in Cornwall says, some women get angry about gender and self-identity issues. When I told my mother I was a giraffe, she raised the roof. Just to wipe the memory away, I'll read something else very quickly. And very strongly. Tom in Sevenoaks says, Trump is scaring me now. I keep thinking about the baby with a gun while being tied to the chair analogy, and it seems more accurate with each passing day. Yeah. The whole human race is in a room, a locked room, with a baby who is playing with a gun. And that baby is the President of the United States of America.
Don't talk to me that way. I'm the President of the United States. Don't ever talk to the President that way.
This is LBC. Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Everything is going extremely well.
You bet your life it is. Sarah in Tavistock says, Nick, in addition to shooting into crowds and public executions, there's two of the things that I predicted, that Donald Trump will order his troops, be they either actual troops or the police or his, ding-a-ling fans from January the 6th. They will be firing into protests, into crowd protests. I'm going to put a date on it by the end of this year. Definitely by the end of next year. Donald Trump will have his people fire into crowds of protesters. There will be public executions, and Donald Trump's not leaving at the end of 4 years. Those are among the things I am betting on. Anyway, Sarah in Tavistock says, in addition to shooting into crowds and public executions, I predict a state of emergency being declared in the US before the midterms, either due to, quotes, violent protests, another surely genuine attempt on Trump's life, or unforeseen terrorist attacks like the one in Israel. That is one way of avoiding elections and remaining in power, says Sarah. Yeah, or he could just do it. And absolutely none of the Republicans who might be able to stand in his way and stop him are going to have the backbone to do that, because they'll just think about all the money they'll lose. The end. 0345 6060 973. Crouch End. Hello, Brian.
Oh, hello.
Brian.
Yes. Interesting you'd mentioned that about people don't have the gumption to stand up to Trump, and I've seen that with the Democrats, that there's only one or two, one of my favorites being Jasmine Crockett, who actually in Congress said to the other side of the aisle, to the Republicans, so is anyone here going to actually say that that Putin was the one who invaded Ukraine? And nobody raised their hand.
No. But what's it got to do with the Democrats? It's the Republicans who've got the House and the Congress and the White House, and it's and what's happening now is the Democrats' fault.
No, I'm saying that the Democrats are not capitalizing on the situation that they could
Well, some people say that the Democrats should just sit and watch what happens, and by that method they will capitalize on the situation just by allowing Donald Trump to be Donald Trump, and eventually, and if his current population statistics or anything to go, popularity statistics or anything to go by, it won't take too long. Maybe Donald Trump will actually shoot himself in the foot. Wouldn't that be great?
Well. Yes, whether it's literally doing that or
he'll
just,
aim for his foot and hit his ear.
Yeah, I mean, we just hope that maybe he has one Big Mac too many, and that does the trick. But in fact, I read somewhere his lunch is 2 Big Macs, a fillet of fish, and a vanilla shake, and that's about 3,000 calories.
It's amazing that somebody who treats himself like that has so much energy, really, isn't it? I mean, it's quite remarkable.
Yeah, he sleeps 4 hours a day and, spends the rest of the time, posting on Truth Social.
Yeah.
Truth Central, as he originally called it.
Being evil keeps you sharp, apparently.
Yeah, there's so much going on through your addled brain, your Adderall brain. The other one that I didn't talk about last week because I was so hopped up on being on television, so I kept talking about that. But the guy that confronted Zelensky about why aren't you wearing a suit? Now, of course, he degraded my name because his name's Brian Glenn, and even further on, he's been in a relationship with Marjorie Taylor Greene for the last 2 years.
Yeah.
But I saw him being interviewed by Victoria Derbyshire, and she just let him go. And I felt, oh, come on, what?
She let him go. What? She had him in irons, and she let him go.
She let him just rant and spew his nonsense, because he's on about the third or fourth rung of far right wing American quote unquote news networks.
Yeah, which means you get a front row seat at Donald Trump's press conferences.
Oh yeah, Associated Press is not allowed.
That's right.
Or CNN, or
all of the fake, the Luden press, the fake news.
Yeah. So, it's funny. The words "fake news" is just it's
just a translation from the German. Yeah.
It's accepted. Well, and of course, what was her name? The press secretary, the Alternative Facts.
Kellyanne Conway, yeah. Well, and I vividly remember that moment when she gulped before she said it, and she said, well, gulp, we have alternative facts. And that was the moment that the world changed. Yeah.
Yeah. She was a trailblazer.
Yeah. All right, good work. Thanks a lot, Brian. Michael in Ipswich says, Nick, the world is taking to hell in a handcart, but don't worry, we have King Charles' new playlist to soothe our nerves on the way down. What's his playlist? I mean, I did see some story about he likes music and he's doing a podcast, but I couldn't be bothered to read it. What's on his playlist? Anybody any idea?
I'm looking up now.
We're looking it up right now as we speak. Stop bothering us. We're busy. Craig says, have you noticed that next to the fat pens, Konrad Trumsky has a child's easel with a drawing of the Gulf of America on it? Why does he have a box of fat pens, by the way? I mean, I know he only uses them to do his big boy squiggle on the wine list that gets presented to him. Some functionary explains what's in it, and Trump's just it's difficult to know whether he's actually listening anymore because they're not talking about him personally. He just sort of looks around the room and you're keeping me from cheating at golf. Can we just get on with it, is what he's thinking. Here we go. The show recorded to mark Commonwealth Day on Monday. Oh, it's Commonwealth Day. Isn't that exciting?
No.
The show recorded to mark Commonwealth Day on Monday sees His Majesty the King sharing his personal playlist. I wonder what it's like. Spanning disco, reggae and Afro beats. What? Anybody believing that?
No.
Disco, reggae and Afro beats? Oh, please. It was recorded in his Buckingham Palace office and features artists from across the Commonwealth. Oh, right. Across the Commonwealth, right. So he is actually not listening to any of this stuff. Some minion has written this list for him to include major artists from Commonwealth countries that people in this country might have heard of or could, if they needed to, pinpoint on a map. Bob Marley. Oh, such a controversial choice there. And bang up to date. Kylie Minogue, ditto. Grace Jones. Ah, Grace Jones. Well, I'm fully on board with Grace Jones. Davido. Who? Davido. David O. Or is it David O? Or is it David? And people go, David? Oh. Who's Davido? And Ray. R-A-Y-E. Ray. I am unfamiliar with Davido or Ray. Oh, man with his hand in the air. Yes?
Ray is a singer who's won like 6 Brits last year. Not this year, last year.
Right.
She's actually pretty good, to be fair. Davido, I don't know him, but he is a Nigerian-American singer. And
so you just interrupted this super show to tell us that you don't know who Davido is.
I didn't hear that, sorry.
You're not even listening. I put his mic up, and he didn't even put his headphones on to listen to me talking back to him. Not remotely interested in anything I've got to say.
Correct.
Well, I can understand that emotion. I'm not remotely interested in anything I've got to say either. Michael in Ipswich says, Nick, the world... No, done that. Craig says, done that. Wow, I really am ahead of schedule, aren't I? No idea where I'm going, but making excellent time. Tina in Ebervale says, I knew Trump loved money. Now, every time he speaks, money is his first words. Having billionaire megaminds as friends is making him so greedy it's becoming dangerous. Well, I'll say it again. It does appear that the more money you have, the more you think only of money. I mean, you've got a man who's got hundreds of thousands of millions of pounds, whereas 1 million would probably keep you in relative comfort in most of the worlds of the country from now until the rest of your life. He has hundreds of thousands of millions of pounds, does Elon Musk, and it appears, from my ignorant standpoint, as though he is solely interested in making more money. I mean, if that's not a sickness, what is? This says, Nick, I think that America's been cuckooed, but... cuckooed by a gang like a vulnerable adult on a bad estate. They obviously need help. Yes. America, would you like our help?
Oh, shut up!
Blink twice. 0345 6060 973. Half of America is currently blinking their faces off. Eyelashes falling to the ground. They're blinking so furiously. This says, your tickly cough is one or two things. Either it's a spider that was having a drink when you were sleeping, or it's asbestos dust. Those are my options. I've eaten a spider, or I've inhaled asbestos dust. Can I have a third option?
No.
0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global, leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Hello, boys.
I don't believe I've ever met him. I'm pretty sure I didn't meet him, and I just don't know anything about him.
Don't know anything about him. Let's see now. Tooting. Hello, Jack. Jack?
Yep, that's me.
Ah, just in time. Yes, Jack.
Just what thinking about Trump, do you think he deserves any credit for doing things in his own way and changing the shift in US relations to what he sees fit? He clearly doesn't care about Europe, which I don't think is a good thing, and especially betraying Ukraine. But he seems to be shifting in the direction that he wants to go in.
Which is?
Towards Asia and China, which is what he sees as a threat. I don't think he cares about Europe and doesn't see any threats there, clearly.
Well, he doesn't seem to care much about China. In fact,
he does care about China.
He seems to be there seems to be animosity towards China from him.
No, other way around. So he sorry, no, you are right. The animosity towards China.
Yes.
So he's shifting his focus there away from Europe, kind of abandoning this side of things, and he's managed to realign the traditional American foreign policy in that direction.
In what direction?
Towards focusing on Asia and China rather than Europe.
But focusing, what do you mean, focusing on? If he's against China?
Well, if he's withdrawing support for Europe, what's he doing with that? It's going towards other areas, presumably.
Presumably?
Well, you can't go nowhere.
Well, it could go into his pocket.
What, military aid? I guess, yeah, through contracts.
Is there anything further?
Not particularly.
No, okay. Good call, Jack. Thanks for that. 0345 6060 973. No, I have no idea. This text says, the first in over 15 years, apparently. What is? Oh, read on, you'll find out, you idiot. You get the choice of electric chair, lethal injection or shooting, and he chose to be shot. Lexi texts, I'm from the US. The prisoner requested the death by firing squad option because lethal injections don't work out too well for us. What, the prisoner dies? Philip in South Norwood says, Nick, my friends in the USA are going to re-record I'm Proud to Be an American by the Tubes, adding I'm not. The Tubes? As in white punks on dope.
Rock and roll!
Those Tubes. Well, I think that the Tubes, and if you aren't familiar with their work, then dial up a picture of them on the World Wide Wait. But prepare yourself. I think the Tubes would be everything that Donald Trump hates, and vice versa. And this says, hi, Nick. Andy here in London. My thoughts about Trump and America. It seems like he's trying to model America like Russia. He's putting his own people in all the different agencies and disbanding the Department of Education. He really is trying to turn America into an authoritarian state. Trying to, has done already. He's done it. It didn't take that long. Some painted clown off the telly who pretended to be a businessman had taken over the world's biggest and most powerful and richest country, and it was easy. It was a piece of cake. He just waddled in there and did it. East Yorkshire, hello, Mike.
Hi, Nick. Yeah, how are you doing?
Good, thanks.
Good. Bit on Musk in a second, but you know your prediction about shooting into crowds of protesters?
Yes.
Did you see Trump's edict this week on how they're going to deal with protests on university campuses?
It wasn't shooting into them, was it?
Yeah. No, it wasn't. But what he said was any protesters who are not American will be deported immediately.
Right.
Any American protesters will be instantly expelled and prohibited from attending American universities in the future.
Wow.
Be afraid. Be very afraid if that sort of stuff comes in.
I mean, what more evidence do you need? The man has taken over America. I mean, it's like, what the hell is happening now? Every day it's like this, and I've spent much of the week trying to avoid getting subsumed in this like tsunami of chaos and deliberate attempt to try to overwhelm you with this constant stream of appalling things that he and his minions are doing. But it's it's a bit hard, really, to avoid it, and equally it's a bit it shoves all other news completely out of the bulletins.
It is, and everything seems to have to be accompanied by threats, isn't it? Hamas, if you don't give up all the hostages, all hell will break loose, and then even threatened Putin with sanctions and bits and pieces. But going on to Musk for a second, do you remember Elon Musk? Not a very good choice of picking people, really, because he suggested that Farage should be replaced by Rupert Lewis.
Yeah, another genius move. Another genius move by the man who now produces an automobile that people refer to as the swastika car.
But then now we've got loads. I mean, there was the argument to start with that Tice said that they were going to tax any farmer who put solar panels on his farm. And of course, Lowe covered his farm with solar panels.
Right.
Which didn't go down well, and now he's accused of assaulting staff and he's been suspended. But did you see the thing by 30p Lee, the statement suspending him from the Reform Party?
No, I did not have the benefit of seeing that.
Every second word in it, he would need a dictionary to understand. That was not written by 30p Lee. It uses words of more than 3 syllables in places. I mean...
Was this a tweet? How did I miss this?
Tweet?
Are you saying that Lee tweeted this?
No, he released a document stating why Reform had suspended Rupert Lowe from the party. Because of all these accusations. But the statement was in quite technical legal speak. And there's no way he would understand half the words. It was quite funny that it had his name at the bottom.
Well, everything about it is quite funny, apart from the accusations themselves. This is what happens when you mess with Nigel. The row ripping apart Reform, screams the Daily Telegraph, which is normally a fanzine for the Reform Party and Donald Trump, and they're starting to print stories that are negative about both of those two things. Donald Trump considers pulling troops out of Germany and sending them to Hungary instead, a place which has maintained a close relationship with Russia. How much more evidence do you need that Donald Trump has taken America to the other side?
Yeah, the evidence is there, right in front of you. And this theory that he's trying to play nice to Putin so he can get Putin on his side and they can take China on together.
Oh, please.
It's for the birds.
Yeah, that's just plain silly. Now, this chatbot, Grok, that is Elon Musk's AI assistant, was asked, what is the likelihood that Trump is a Putin-compromised asset? And the artificial intelligence bot combed the internet and came up with the following answer.
Yes.
Yes, he is a Russian asset, it said, in a nutshell. But I might give you a flavour of that a bit later. Isn't that exciting? Thanks a lot, Mike. 0345 6060 973. Richard says, hi, Nick, we need to ridicule Trump, and my suggestions are, 1, someone should produce MAGA hats and T-shirts reading Make America Gross Again. Trump and Musk would make a perfect Laurel and Hardy's. No, Trump, yeah, okay. Let's know with material.
Oh,
no. This says, did you see the piece on Google that a Norwegian company called Haltback Bunkers has banned US warships from refueling from its facilities and is urging all other European countries to do the same? This in solidarity with President Zelensky after Trump advanced his treatment of that scandalous TV meeting. I would love to know what Trump's reaction to this is. He probably didn't hear about it because none of his minions had the backbone to actually tell him. But I don't think it makes much difference because Haltback Bunkers is not a company that is directly involved, to my knowledge, in refueling US warships. I don't think it is their field of expertise. I think they just wanted to put that out as a statement of intent, should that occasion ever arise. This says, I work for a well-known luggage company. We're having to move all of our USA orders from China's factories to our Thailand factory due to Trump's tariffs. 65% for all luggage. All components, apart from the wheels and the panels, come from China anyway. Bonkers. Yeah, everything about it is bonkers. Everything about it is bonkers. Nothing about his trade wars make any sense at all, other than he just wants to disrupt stuff, or see if this has the ring of truth to it. If you were the President of the United States of America, and you could just, because you woke up grumpy, institute a 25% tax levy on, let's say, Canada, and before you did that, you shorted a lot of Canadian stocks, by which method you would make money if those stocks went down in value. And you did that on day one, you shorted Canadian stocks. On day 2, you announced tariffs on Canadian companies. On day 3, you collected your winnings, and on day 4, you rescinded the tariffs because you've woken up not grumpy. And in the intervening period, you made $100 million. Does that have the ring of truth about it? Don't tell him, because if he hasn't thought of that already. Crouch End, hello, Grace.
Oh, hello, yes. I just wanted to say that regarding Trump, I don't really think it's such a surprise. I think he's a very extreme version of what was always there. And in some ways it's quite refreshing that it's out in the open. Well, the American foreign policy, number one.
You think American foreign policy has traditionally been about helping Vladimir Putin?
No, American foreign policy has been about invading as many countries as you can. Latin America is just a littered casualty of all the invasions. Regarding his rhetoric about he's kept Europe safe, actually the Iraq war destabilized the whole of the Middle East, and Germany and Turkey and Greece, these countries that have had to take millions of refugees, did not have anything to do with it. And I don't hear anyone challenging Trump on that. So I don't really think...
What's that got to do with Trump, though?
Well, no, I'm talking about what he says, the way he portrays the role of America as being this great custodian, this country that we've looked after everybody else. I think when you really go into it, it isn't like that. I actually think that Europe would be much better off getting out of NATO, because I actually think Russia is demonized constantly, all the time, for decades. There's nothing good about it, nothing. They are the enemy.
Well, I'm sure that they make nice trinkets, and the caviar is probably nice if you enjoy that sort of thing. Vodka is a good thing that comes from Russia. But you're saying that Vladimir Putin has been misunderstood.
I don't really have an opinion. The media
you do have an opinion. You called in to give it to me. You appear to be chock full of opinions. Is one of your opinions?
Oh no, you're saying about Putin.
Yeah, but you said that Russia is misunderstood. Putin is Russia.
What I'm saying is that if you look at the way, if you look at the history, Russia won the Second World War. We can't stand that. But they did. We came in much later, so did America. We cannot give them credit for that. That, for me, is appalling.
We cannot give Russia credit for winning the Second World War.
No, well, we don't.
What sort of credit?
They're never invited to any commemoration or... even when Auschwitz, the ceremony at Auschwitz, they liberated Auschwitz, but they weren't invited.
Yeah, okay. This is so weird, Grace. It's almost like I'm living a parallel life right now. It's like I'm having an out-of-body experience. Where is this call going? I mean, what is the upshot of what it is that you're trying to say?
I'm actually trying to say that I think America, we need to get away from...
All right, okay. Well, I agree. I agree with that. We need to get away from America. We can't rely on America anymore because they've shown themselves to be unreliable. But if you're saying that we should cozy up to Russia, and they haven't been given enough credit for winning the Second World War, well, I don't know what planet you're living on. No, well, Crouch End. Crouch End has a lot to answer for. No doubt about that. Thanks a lot, Grace, for, whatever that was. 0345 6060 973. John in Wallingham says, Nick, Trump said today that Russia holds all the cards. That's because he gave them all away. Yeah, I think a man who bankrupted a casino that he ran should talk less about people holding all the cards. It always seems like a comically inept analogy to me from somebody who couldn't even run a casino properly. How can you lose money running a casino, by the way? That takes a special kind of talent. Mark texts, Trump's tariffs policy. You put your left arm in, your left arm out, in, out, you shake it all about, you do the okey-dokey and you turn around, and that's what it's all about. Finally, we got there. An explanation I can understand.
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
Anybody care what this guy thinks?
No!
This says, I never know what is meant when Trump's angry press person refers to everyday Americans. Are there Americans that are only kept for special occasions? No, there are Americans that are only kept for special occasions. Alex says, with Humpty Trumpty halting aid for Ukraine and attacking its closest allies, who needs enemies when you have friends like the United States? Yeah, they're not our friend anymore. We've got to get used to that. I know it's a bit alarming, and it's not us, it's them. And it's like ordinarily the best part of breaking up is in the making up, but not in this case. I think we've got to get used to the fact that America is not our friend anymore, or Donald Trump isn't. I mean, Americans may be, but Donald Trump is running America like a mob boss.
Absolutely.
Alex says, also, did you see his Congress speech? He made a 13-year-old boy a member of the Secret Service. 13 years old and already the strangest day of his life. I didn't see that, no. But it was just a torrent of lies like Donald Trump's speeches always are. Pretty much every single thing that he said was not true. False. You know. Liar! And I have the evidence to prove it. Cornwall. Hello, Malcolm.
Hello, Nick.
Malcolm.
Well, it's all happening, boy.
Is it?
Big news isn't breaking. ITV are breaking it tonight on the home front. But I first of all, sort of say, Trump, I was saying to your beloved colleague in the box there, that it almost seems that Trump is not trolling, but seriously taking the mick out of the actual show SNL. Because SNL, and they've done some crazy stuff about Trump, they couldn't dream of thinking up the things he has done in the Oval Office in the last 3, 4, 5 weeks.
Yeah, you're talking about Saturday Night Live, SNL. Yeah, people in this country aren't familiar with SNL. It's a fitfully amusing late-night TV show that's been going since the 70s, I think, in America. Used to have John Belushi on it and, all sorts. But if you've heard of them, they've been on that show. Yeah,
and it's one of the most unbelievably accurate and brilliant satirical shows. Well, since, I mean, we were famed, the Brits were famed for satire before the noughties, weren't we?
It's a shame that Spitting Image doesn't exist anymore, because this seems, what we're going through right now seems right up their alley.
This is, but it's a Brit thing, isn't it? If there was an American version, my God, as you say, Trump is made for it, isn't he? But the things that are happening, Nick, and it's all starting to come together, and really not in a good way. And if
you
only,
think?
I mean seriously bad. I can't think up of anything. I try to be a little bit positive usually when I ring you, because nobody wants to hear people being down all the while. But there are things happening now, like all of the bigwigs in Russia are saying there is zero chance of us agreeing to a deal which has anybody on our border at all. So
Vladimir Putin has ruled out British or French troops on the ground, as though it's his decision. What the hell's it got to do with him?
Well, no, I get the principle of it's a Ukraine-Russia war, and France and Britain are members of NATO, so they'd be putting NATO against his border. But that gets blown clean out of the water by the fact that he invaded a sovereign country. So there's all of that bears no resemblance to sense at all. So that's number one, Nick, right? That's number one.
So far, no sense, yes.
And then you've got Keir Starmer then the other week, and this isn't being critical of Starmer, but he needs to wake up and smell the coffee fairly soon and do something serious about Trump. Starmer said there is no peace deal without
a peacekeeping force, and there is literally no peacekeeping force without American backup. In other words, airplanes, weapons.
Yeah, but we've got to get used to America's not on our side anymore, and we've got to stop waiting for the cavalry to charge over the hill to save us. That ain't going to happen no more.
Right, so that brings me then to the big point, which is Starmer and France and Europe are wasting their time because they've admitted they're not prepared to go to a full-on war with Russia. So where does that leave the rest of Europe and Ukraine? I think that leaves Ukraine in big, big trouble, more trouble. And the things are bad now, but it's going to get a hell of a lot worse. And Starmer and Macron and von der Leyen, they need to start realising this, that they've got to go to Trump and say, look, Donald, this cannot be. This cannot happen, my friend. But
that would be received positively. Donald Trump doesn't like people talking back to him unless they've got billions of dollars dangling in front of him.
What they're going to give him, yeah. But on a lighter note, I think that you've seen it today. Musk or yesterday, Musk said, actually, Elon can't be doing this. We need to get the people who actually run the department that Elon wants to.
Right, Trump said that.
The face out here. Yeah. We're going to get those leaders to do it, and if they refuse, then Elon is welcome to step in. So already, I think that to me indicates people behind the scenes in America who actually run education and health and veterans and all this. They've all said, "Oh no, Musk is killing us."
I don't think that any of those people are remotely interested in the us part of that sentence. They might be interested in them. Well, their power has been usurped by Elon Musk charging around with his maniacal grin and a chainsaw. So, they don't care about their people because they were deliberately selected from a pool of people who don't care about their people.
So summing up, Nick, I don't think there is a European peace plan, in all honesty, because Trump is making it clear, because he's already gone back on the signing of this mineral deal next week. That's not now going to happen because he's saying until the thing is signed, I'm not signing a mineral deal. But Starmer said, hurry up, Zelensky, sign the mineral deal because then we'll have Trump by the short and curlies because he wants the dough from that.
Yeah, Ukraine should sign the mineral deal with us, and then we'll do it. Let's just cut Donald Trump out of it. I mean, Donald Trump was shocked and stunned that he didn't get that deal that he wanted, and the cherry on top of the cake was that Zelensky would in his suit, crawl across the carpet and kiss Donald Trump's ring, and none of that happened. And Donnie has been throwing a fit that you could see through concrete ever since because he didn't get his money.
Well, let me bring it back home, Nick, on a happier note. But
you just said that already. You already said that there's on a lighter note, and it wasn't light at all.
No, I haven't made the second point yet, man. Bringing it home on a lighter point, but an absolutely miserable point. Labour have leaked, it seems, tonight to ITV what the cuts that are coming are going to be. And they're going to make benefits much harder to get. They're going to make it easier on people who aren't sick but on benefits to get more money. So they're going to give people who are doing a job search every week more money. And people who can prove that they're not fit for work, they're going to cut their money, Nick. Now,
you may not have read that right, and we'll only know when they make an announcement. What ITV said is neither here nor there. They're going to cut people's money. That didn't make any sense. What you just described, it made no sense.
Here it is. ITV is saying further savings will be made by freezing payments. Right, that's personal independent payments. So that's for people with the disabilities to make their life a little bit better. Cuts are coming, right? They're freezing it, and what do you mean cut? And then they're raising money for those on who are fit enough to look for work, right? They're just going to massage figures, Nick, I think. And I think they're going to make the pensioners cut.
And this is the light story to end on.
Yes.
Oh, my God, Malcolm. Seriously, crack a smile every now and again. That's your light entertainment. Disabled people having their benefits cut? That was the fun story at the end, just before the weather. And finally, good grief. 0345 6060 973. Text 84850. Email nick@lbc.co.uk. If you're on WhatsApp, it's the same number as the phone. 0345 6060 973. Light stories only, please. Unless you don't have any, in which case, just forget I ever asked.
Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Right, so what we doing?
Carol, we're doing a radio show, but it does remind me, I do a podcast with Carol McGiffin.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's out twice a week, comes out on a Monday and a Friday, and I do think that you will be delighted by its contents. It's a problem-solving podcast. If you have a problem or an issue or a conundrum, something you'd always wondered about, something that has been bothering you, well, then just leave it to the inexperts. Simply send it to the following address, nickandcarol@global.com. nickandcarol@global.com, and prepare to be totally satisfied.
Oh, right, yeah.
It's available, over 300 episodes, something like 320 episodes we've done without killing each other. Can you believe that?
No.
It's called What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol, and it is on Global Player and where you get your podcasts. What's Your Problem with Nick and Carol? Let's have Bath. Laura.
Oh, hi, Nick. How you doing?
I'm great, mate.
You're in a really good mood this evening, even with
everything
Malcolm bringing us all down.
Yeah, even with everything going on, I know. Yeah.
And don't you just miss when politicians were boring? Oh, they were the best days ever.
Yeah, wouldn't it be nice if we could have a bit more boredom politically?
I mean, yeah, because actually, like, I was thinking that, you know, the way I measure inflation over the years is, as you know, or you probably don't remember, Freddos, right? Do you remember what they are? I did tell you about them.
Freddos?
The chocolate I told you like 2 years ago. But they're the perfect measure of inflation.
I know Fredo. He's the guy who went out into the lake and never came back. I remember
Right.
Fredo, but not Freddos.
It's a chocolate shaped like a frog, okay? But when I was a kid, they were 10p. I think they're now about 25p. So when I'm interested
25p? For a Freddo?
I know. But then for the measure of sort of, I guess, quality of life could be the entertainment value of the current serving Prime Minister. Because the more entertaining they are, the more likely it is that you're not living in a very good
good place. Yes, if only we could be more Scandinavian. I mean, their politics. Boring. You never hear a word about it.
I mean, honestly, you couldn't pay me to name one of their politicians. No. But yeah, the past 10 years.
I'll give you 6 Fredos if you can name me one.
You can't afford 6.
That is a good point. Yeah.
I finally finished my exams, by the way. Not
yeah.
that you asked,
what are you studying?
Oh, how can you not remember?
Laura, I get hundreds of calls in a weekend. I can't possibly remember everybody that I...
There's only one me.
Well, yeah, that is true. Yeah, that is true.
It's basically my show at this point.
What are you studying?
I'm at vet school.
Oh, vet's school. And when I heard that, I probably said something about you being up to your elbows in rubber gloves.
Elbows in rubber gloves, yeah, that's the one. But the only downside this week is one of my chickens has been poorly, so I've been nursing back.
That is so sad. Yeah.
Even with the glockenspiel that I got for them.
Which they play with their face.
Yeah, they do, and I sent you a video of that.
I didn't open that.
Yeah, that should have been... I emailed you.
Yeah, I didn't open that. If I read the email or the message on the air, I've read it. If I don't read it on the air, I haven't seen it. That's the rule.
If you checked your inbox and you saw...
No, I didn't. You're not listening to me, Laura. If I read it on the air, I've read it. If I do not read it on the air, I haven't seen it.
Okay. Well, you'll have to next time. You'll have to read out your personal email.
No,
and
well,
we'll authentic.
if I read my personal emails, then that might be possible. But as I don't, it isn't.
Do you know, I was going to say to your previous caller, first of all, when he said that light aside the news, people with disabilities having their benefits cut, that sounds exactly like Jacob Rees-Mogg, the exact thing that he'd pay to watch.
Yeah, he would find that heartening. Yeah, exactly.
And it'd be like Saturday night in, fire on, 1 hour of children crying, and then 1 hour of people with disabilities getting their benefits cut.
Yeah, that would be an excellent night in for smug.
Have you seen Gogglebox before?
No.
But you know what it is, right?
Isn't it a program about people watching programs?
Exactly.
Yeah. What kind of an idea is that? I mean, really? How did that person that came up with the idea of a program about people watching programs not get thrown out of the offices of the television company they were trying to persuade to make it? I mean, come on.
I mean, we laugh, but it's successful, isn't it?
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
We can put our nose up at it, but you can just imagine there being a version with these sort of pseudo-aristocratic sort of collapsed Conservative Party members.
Right, well, I thought they'd done that already. But didn't they have that? Sue Poshos, who ran the place down in Cornwall or something like that? I've got absolutely no idea what I'm talking about now.
Actually, I knew there was one where Stanley Johnson was on there, actually. I completely forgot about that.
Right. Well,
and he was exactly how you imagined him.
Certainly, I'm glad that I missed all of that.
Yeah. Well, my final message is...
and in conclusion, yes.
On the light, to end on a light note.
On a light note, yeah. Death, mayhem, disease.
If you do cut money, you can take it to the bank and they'll give you a fresh one.
If I cut money?
Like a banknote, if you damage it, take it to the bank and they will issue you with a new one.
Can I keep the old one?
We'll glue it back together again.
Check on that, Laura, because I've had an excellent idea. I want you to check on that possibility, Laura. If you rip a banknote and you take it to the bank, they'll give you a new one, but can you keep the old one? Thanks a lot, Laura. 0345 6060 973. Somebody should look into that very strongly. Eleni says, do you think on next meeting of Trump and Zelensky that Zelensky will be wearing a suit? I hope not. I definitely hope not. I don't think we should be dealing with Donald Trump anymore. He wanted the money that would come from the minerals. And when I say he, I mean he personally. His interest is not saving Ukrainians or stopping wars or anything like that. His interest is in a mafia-style shakedown.
Absolutely.
I mean, let's not kid ourselves that it's anything else than that. So he had his chance and he blew it. Because he was an egotistical maniac, as usual. So those minerals should be ours now, and then we'll stump up the whatever is required to secure that for us. By which measure we'd also secure peace for Ukraine. Don't give it to Donald Trump. Gary in Suffolk says, Ukraine have lost U.S. security information. Trump has imposed, and now mostly dropped, on Mexico and Canada 25% trade tariffs. He's also imposed 10% tariffs on China. NATO countries are now under threat from Trump. He's also threatened Hamas hell to pay if it doesn't release all the hostages. Trump today has now threatened Russia with economic sanctions. And not to be outdone, Meghan Markle is getting a second series on Netflix. What lengths will this woman go to steal the limelight away from the orange Jesus? Yeah, thanks a lot, Meghan Markle. And Stephen in Huntingdon says, how long before Trump and Prince Andrew are seen in a Pizza Hut? Luton. Hello, John.
Hi there.
Yes, John. Hello there.
I just heard that Macron and Starmer are having a cup of tea this weekend, and I'd just love to be in that meeting to hear what they say. I'm just imagining.
Well, I mean, you have strong opinions about Donald Trump, and so am I. So do I. But you can't express them in builders' terms.
Disgusting.
I mean, come on. This is a radio. It's not television. At this time of night on television, it would be, I think, illegal to have a programme that doesn't use words like that man just used. But you can't do it on the radio. Illegal. You cannot do it on the radio. Don't ask me why it's okay on TV, but it's not on the radio. I have no idea. And neither does anybody else. But those are the random rules. Better luck next time, John. He was talking about skier. Keir Starmer's Coalition of the Willing now has around 20 members, apparently. The PM insisted intensive work is continuing on ways to enforce any peace deal struck with Vlad the Insaner. But he stressed, Skier did, that there was no certainty that an agreement will be reached. Moscow has flatly dismissed the idea of European peacekeepers in Ukraine, which is odd because what's it got to do with them? Vlad the Insaner is the villain. The villain doesn't get to choose how the story ends in literally every film I've ever seen. Are you telling me that films aren't realistic?
Correct.
Speaking after a UK-Ireland summit this afternoon, Skier said that he would, no, yesterday actually, he would not make a choice between the US and Europe. Well, it doesn't really matter because Don Donnie has made a choice between himself and everyone else. And he's taken America with him. So Skier might not choose between Europe and America, but that choice has been made for him. Unless Keir Starmer is so deluded to think that Trump is an ally, a friend, someone we can rely on, because if that is the case, wake up, Skier, it's later than you think. And pressed on Trump spending, or suspending rather, military aid and intelligence cooperation, Skier said, "We need to put Ukraine in the strongest possible position. That is my strong view." I say this with great strength. You know, parroting Trump's talking points isn't going to get you anywhere, Skier. You can do it with great strength all you like. Unless you're coming with billions of dollars and a foot massage, the Tangerine Scream isn't interested. It's all about the money, honey. And so far, only Britain and France have openly offered to put boots on the ground after a peace deal. But there is speculation that Australia might be involved. We're saved. Meanwhile, military experts have been floating the idea of a European air force of 120 jets to secure Ukraine's skies from Russian attacks. And Number 10 did not dismiss the idea. But the usual fake patriots will start hyperventilating about it as capitulation to Europe, Churchill revolving in his grave, Douglas Bader's relatives furious, you know, that sort of thing. The PM says, I think we have a false choice, which is between, on the one hand, working with the United States and on the other hand, working with Europe. We've enjoyed peace for 80 years. He says we've done that by working with the US. No two countries work as closely as we do on defence, security and intelligence, but also by working with our European partners. That's what Skier said. He says, that's why I'm resisting those who are saying Churchill didn't make the choice, Attlee didn't make the choice, but now they are urging me to make the choice between the US and Europe. Wrong choice in my view, says Keir Starmer. And my view is that you can't rely on someone who's not reliable. And Trump is as reliable as a friend as he is as a husband. Ain't that right, Melania?
I don't care.
She's not that bothered.
This is LBC. Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbott. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Who do you think you're talking to?
Well, let's see now. I'm talking to a chap in Cumbernauld called Andrew. Andrew.
Hello there, Nick. How are you
Hello
doing today?
there, Andrew. Very well, thanks.
One of your previous callers was trying to remember the television programme from Devon or Cornwall that featured the Posho family.
Yeah.
That would be the family headed by Francis Fulford.
Who's that?
If you remember.
No, I don't.
All right. The title of the programme was The F, followed by a series of stars, Fulfords. and he was down on his luck, posh bloke. Was absolutely out of his money.
And this was it a fly on the wall thing, or was it?
Yes.
Right,
this
so
is one of the
real life,
and he expressed some rather antediluvian opinions, and he swore like a Glasgow docker.
And this presumably was on Channel 4?
I think it was Channel 4, yes.
What would we do without them? You know, what with all the excellent programmes they produce, like, you know, all the good things that are on Channel 4 these days, like, no, I can't think of a single thing.
When Channel 4 started, it was fantastic.
It was.
Absolutely,
I remember when
brilliant.
I remember when Channel 4 started. They pretty much invented youth TV. That was what's her name? That woman.
Magenta Divine.
No,
Yates.
no, the Big Chief. Yeah.
Yes. It was brilliant. Hill Street Blues, all this kind of thing.
Oh, be careful out there. Yeah. But they can't take credit for Hill Street Blues. That was an American TV program they just bought. But they can take credit for the inventing youth TV.
And some brilliant documentaries that nobody else seemed to do.
I tell you what, one of the best things I ever saw on TV was I'm getting emotional. I'm getting emotional just thinking about it. One of the best things I ever saw on television was right at the beginning of Channel 4's existence, and they, to my knowledge, they never repeated it, and it was called.
Somewhere is it, Nick?
What a great story. I bet you're glad that I started on that. No, it was called Road Trip. I believe it was called Road Trip. And it was films that were made, I believe, in the 60s, 70s perhaps, on a Super 8 video camera by a chap who funded his trip across America by showing the films that he had made in colleges to students. And the footage was spliced to the music of almost ambient type music. The names of some of the artists completely escape me now, but it was kind of like Ry Cooder-ish, that kind of thing.
Yeah.
It was utterly brilliant. In fact, it was so good that I actually tried to contact the man who'd filmed it to try to get a video of this film, because it went on for ages. It was, I think it was like once a day for a week or more. And it was hours and hours long. It's one of the best things I've ever seen on TV, and they never repeated it, to my knowledge. And it's just sort of died. It just sort of disappeared. If anybody saw or has any information about it, because I'd love to be able to get that back. I think of that programme often.
And there was another documentary they did, which was simply called Television, and it charted the history of television and its influence from the dawn of telly right up to that time. And I think, if I remember rightly, Channel 4 at the time had a specific policy of not repeating things because they were set up as a forum for brand new, a lot of new television, for stuff that people nobody else was literally doing, because they were doing Terry and June and Sports Scene and things like that.
That's right, for the benefit of the British media industry.
Yeah, or for the benefit of somebody that wanted something a little bit more highbrow, but the stuff that wasn't being touched by anybody else. Channel 4 was said, look, this isn't necessarily going to be hugely popular, but it's really good and deserves a platform.
Right.
So if you go and do it.
Some of the best things in the history of television have been not very popular, but have had great value, like The Ascent of Man, for instance. I bet whatever was on opposite The Ascent of Man had a bigger audience, regardless of what it was. But I'd say The Ascent of Man is one of the best programmes that's ever been made.
Yeah, and so many of these things you either aren't being repeated, won't be released.
Yeah.
But if they released them, then, like yourself, there are things that you would pay money for if you could get it.
Yeah, I did actually. I tried to offer that person money, but I think the problem was may have been a copyright thing, because the music, I'm not sure, was released for him to use on those on those films. I don't know quite what it was, but it seems a shame that something that was so good that I can remember it vividly now. I mean, how old is Channel 4? It was in the 80s, right?
It'd be coming up for 43, 44 anyway.
Good grief. I can remember it clear as day, and I've never seen it on TV again. That seems like a real shame.
Yeah, well, a lot of these things, like, remember the original Room 101, when it had not Frank Skinner or Paul Merton hosting it? You can't get those anywhere. And I think that's down to copyright, and a lot of those are actually really good. But a lot of these things drop out of copyright, and they can't get release from the people that were on it, so they just disappear into a black hole, never to be seen again.
Yeah, it's a shame.
Sometimes some of the best stuff.
Exactly right, yes. In fact, I've just tried to look it up on the World Wide Wait, and there's absolutely nothing there. I mean, I could do a deep search, I suppose. I could use AI, perhaps. But I'm doing a super show at the moment, so I am unavailable, Andrew.
Yeah. All right, fair enough.
Okay, but good work.
You're right. Okay, keep good work. Much appreciated.
Okay, thanks a lot, Andrew. Another satisfied customer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was called Road Trip. And there wasn't any story to it. It was just beautiful images shot in that sort of those acid colours that you used to get from a cinematic camera. What do they call them? A cinema camera thing. You know, one of those Kodak ones that you had to wind up. Oh, they made such a great noise. Remember that? No, what are you talking about, Grandad? Grandad? Oh, you little... Sim in South London says, hi, did you hear the news on Gene Hackman and his wife? She died... Well, this is another... And finally, she died before him and died of hantavirus, those pesky rodents. It's spread by mice. Gene died a week later of heart disease. I think it's still weird. Anyway, apparently you must not brush or hoover mice excrement as it makes it aerosol. Oh. Disgusting. The doctor in the press conference explained how to clear up mouse droppings safely. It was educational, says Sim. Well... There's something missing in your story there, Sim. How do you clean up mouse droppings safely? I would definitely have used a brush and or a vacuum cleaner. So I'm actually lucky to be alive. I think you need... There's some gaps in your information there, Sim. There's no point in telling us that somebody explained how to clear up mouse droppings safely for the benefit of your health if you don't tell us how to do it. Alistair in Glasgow says, Trump is upsetting thousands more American citizens with every day that passes, but we can take comfort from the fact that most of them have guns. Have guns. Well, that's where most of the gun ownership is, in the Dingling states, and the Dingling states are Trump's fan base. And this text says, I think you think your cough was bad. I had a piece of doner meat go down the wrong way last night and almost coughed my intestines up. Oh, well, it's a little bit too much information there. Just a little bit. And this says, Nick, Zelensky ordered a salad for lunch at the White House. That comes with a Russian dressing, said the Donald. This text, Nick, China should be getting watched concerning China. There's a good chance China wants to take Taiwan. Their independence isn't really safe because of China. Did any of that make sense? Probably my fault. 0345 6060 973. Friday, Saturday, Sunday night at 10. Nick Abbot, LBC.
On your radio, on Global Player, and
Play LBC.
Leading Britain's conversation. This is LBC. This is LBC from Global. Leading Britain's conversation with Nick Abbott.
Nobody knows who the hell he is.
You've got a good, your mind is a little bit, you know what I mean, three-dimensional.
Three-dimensional? Livio says, Nick, there's a series on Sky Atlantic called Mussolini, Son of the Century. You should watch it. The similarities between his rise to power and that of Trump, and how a nation sleepwalked into a dictatorship, is frightening, says Livio. Well, there's a lot that Donald Trump seems to copy from Mussolini. Look at a Mussolini speech and the way he addresses the microphone and the way he sort of accepts applause. And it is Donald Trump to a T. Lucy in Balham says, I hear Gaddafi also knew a lot about wind, albeit the... no. This text says... but... It starts, but, Nick, wouldn't you agree that what Trump is doing in the US now isn't all that different from what we've seen in the EU and the UK, especially with austerity? It seems like the rest of the world has been following Europe's blueprint and beating it. No, I would not agree that what Trump is doing in the US now isn't all that different from austerity. No, I would not agree anything of the sort. It's got nothing to do with it. What are you talking about? Folkestone, hello, Dave.
Oh, hello, Nick.
Dave.
Yeah, you were talking about road trip.
Yes.
I actually had that on VHS tape a while back. And a friend of mine copied them all to DVD. So when I can find the DVD in my vast stocks of DVDs I've got, I shall send you a copy of it.
Wow, that would be extremely kind.
Yeah, I think there was a Volkswagen van in it from memory or something like that.
Yes, it was an old hippie microbus. Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure I've got it. I've just got to find it, which is a lot of fun.
Okay, well, I'll look forward to that, and thanks in advance.
No, I moved out of London a couple of years back. I'm still trying to sort
right. All your stuff's still in cases, yeah.
Yeah, 350 boxes full.
Oh, wow.
But we'll get there.
Yeah, you got to be stern and strict, and if you haven't thought about it or used it in the last year, then get rid of it.
I say the fun we had, because we moved out of London when the COVID was on, so you couldn't actually get rid of a lot of gear. So.
Right.
Yeah, it's good fun, though.
Okay, well, all right. Good work.
I shall try and find it. I can't give you a time span, but I shall find it and copy it for you.
Well, I very much appreciate that. Thanks, Dave.
Have a good night.
Cheers, ta-da.
Bye.
That's probably illegal, isn't it? Please disregard everything you just heard. He is intending to do no such thing. This text says, imagine if all 400,000 people that live in Nottingham had £1 million and they all gave that £1 million to you. You'd still not be as rich as Elon Musk. Yeah. I mean, ordinarily, super rich people like to whitewash their reputation by, putting a theatre up or building a wing on a hospital, having a charitable donation, something like that. Or they sponsor art, things like that. What's Elon Musk done with all of his money? Apart from trying to fashion other ways of earning more of it. I mean, what's he actually done for the benefit of humanity with all that money? Any ideas? He blew up a few rockets, yeah? Anything else? Keith says, hi Nick, Keith here. I know that, Keith. He says, I see King Chaz has become a DJ for Apple Music, and on Monday they're releasing his playlist. Apparently he's a fan of Kylie Minogue and Raye. R-A-Y-E. I've got some suggestions. Queen, Another One Bites the Dust, King, Love and Pride, Fun Boy 3, and Tunnel of Love, says Keith. This text says, look what ChatGPT says about Elon Musk. Musk has not spoken in detail about apartheid, but has generally distanced himself from South Africa's racial policies at the time. He has said he left South Africa at 17, partly to avoid mandatory military service under the apartheid government. Looks like two draft dodgers are running the US, not so tough guys who got rich without serving their countries. Wow, what was interesting was Elon Musk's own AI bot was asked if Donald Trump was a Russian asset. It's quite a long answer it gave, but I'll nutshell it to you.
Yes.
Yes. Says the question highlights Trump's consistent reluctance to criticise Putin juxtaposed against his frequent attacks on US allies, which is a key behavioural indicator to consider alongside historical and financial contexts. From the 1980s onwards, Trump's business dealings provide a starting point. public records show he pursued real estate ventures with significant Russian financial involvement. In 1987, Trump visited Moscow, a trip facilitated by Soviet officials, sparking speculation about early cultivation by Russian intelligence. Speculation later fueled by former KGB agent Yuri Shvets, who claimed Trump was targeted as a potential asset due to his ego and his financial vulnerabilities. Throughout the 90s and the 2000s, as Trump faced bankruptcies, he increasingly relied on funding from sources tied to Russia and former Russia states. His sons, Donald Jr. and Eric, made statements reinforcing this. Donald Jr. in 2008 said, quotes, Russians make up a pretty disproportionate cross-section of a lot of our assets. I remember him saying that. And Eric in 2014 said, we have all the funding we need out of Russia. And the Trump organization's partnerships, like with the Bayrock Group and sales of properties to Russian oligarchs, suggest a dependency on Russian money that could create leverage. Intelligence reports and investigations add weight. The 2017 US intelligence community assessment concluded that Putin authorized interference in the 2016 election to favor Trump, a finding supported by the Mueller report, which, while not proving criminal conspiracy, documented extensive Trump campaign to Russia contacts, over 100 by some accounts. Trump's behavior as president is and beyond is striking. He's never directly criticized Putin, even when pressed. He sided with Putin's denial of election interference over US intelligence reports at the 2018 Helsinki summit. Bob Woodward's book claims that Trump spoke to Putin 7 times, including a secretive call last year at Mar-a-Lago. Contrast this with attacks on NATO allies, calling them delinquent on payments, and his Oval Office clash with Ukraine's Zelensky, where he blamed Ukraine for Russia's invasion. Yeah, I mean, you don't really need to have artificial intelligence to figure any of this out, do you? Counter-arguments exist. Trump's administration imposed sanctions on Russia over the Skripal poisoning in 2018, expelled diplomats and armed Ukraine. These are actions that Putin would not favour, yet these measures were often driven by Congress or aides over Trump's objections, and he downplayed their significance, maintaining personal warmth towards Putin. OK, we're in the final stretch now. Artificial intelligence is thinking. Weighing this, the financial ties, the decades-long opaque and substantial intelligence suggesting Russian intent, and Trump's unwavering refusal to criticise Putin despite attacking allies, tilt the scale. The lack of transparency, for example, hiding tax returns, seizing interpreter notes after Putin talks, amplifies suspicion. No smoking gun proves direct control, but the useful idiot scenario, where Trump's ego and debts make him unwittingly pliable, fits the evidence. It's just an idiot. Adjusting for uncertainty and alternative explanations, for example, ideological alignment or naivety, I, the artificial intelligence robot, estimate a 75 to 85% likelihood that Trump is a Putin-compromised asset, leaning towards the higher end due to the consistency of his behaviour and the depth of historical ties. Wow. 85% yes. Is Donald Trump a Russian asset, says Elon Musk's artificial intelligence chatbot. I agree with the chatbot.
Affirmative.
Yes. That bot's got a lot. Let's see now. The Wirral. Hello, Nora.
Hiya, Nick.
Nora.
Sorry. I've been sitting here so long, my voice has gone. Sorry. Yeah, I know, yeah, well, to the Anglican. Yeah, I just wondered, did you see the whole interviews? Have you watched? I'm guessing you have.
Of what?
The Trump and Zelensky, press conference.
No, not all 50
beginning.
minutes. No, not all 50 minutes. I couldn't spend that much time in Donald Trump's company. I just can't stand it.
Okay, well, I think it throws up some interesting aspects.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, if you believe it's a setup, you'd have to believe that Donald Trump could act. And I don't think he's got the intelligence to do that.
I don't know. I think he's been acting his entire life.
Well, yeah, but he's so transparent with it, though, isn't he? So I just think as it started the interview, and he was very complimentary, and he was saying, I thought he couldn't put that on. He hasn't got the guile to do it. He's just, anyway, so that was one thing. So I feel like Vance was the protagonist. And then the best part of it was with Zelensky. And the guy who said, have you got a suit? And he's still kicked off about that. And because Zelensky said, yeah, I've got a suit. Like yours. No, better than yours. But with such comedic delivery, I thought, oh my God, he really is. You could see the comedian in him. Even in that situation, he still brought it out. So, yes, that was the only high point of the whole interview, though. So,
yeah, and it went downhill rapidly from that point on.
Well, yes, to the point of disaster, really, yeah. But I do think that, anyway, I'm disappointed more people haven't watched the whole thing because it's so telling.
You know, there's this. There's quite a lot of documentaries on TV at the moment about Donald Trump and how Donald Trump came to power the second time around, and we followed him, and we've got all the background footage and all the rest of it. And I think, well, that might be quite interesting, but do I really want to spend another 2 hours in Donald Trump's company? And the answer to that, I'm afraid, is no. It's a no from me.
No.
No.
Aaron's a little bit spiky tonight, isn't he?
Is he?
Well, I thought he was. He was a bit short.
He is my glamorous assistant, for those who are not familiar.
I know, and he really is glamorous. I've seen his Facebook page. He's quite a dish. Well, you know, you're sitting next to him, aren't you?
No. I'm not anywhere near him. No, there's 3 panes of glass between him and me. And they must be distorting because I do not recognise the description that you have just given.
Maybe it's not him.
Yeah, quite possibly. But either way, he is redoubling security. Thanks a lot, Nora. Be alarmed.
Warning.
0345 6060 973. Keith texts. No, done that one. This says, Nick, Trump has given Rootin' Tootin' Putin the green light to attack other European countries, which will eventually put British people in danger. Yet so-called British patriots support Trump. Yeah, they're the same patriots who yelled about sovereignty when we left the European Union. And now they want a foreign leader to take over this country. Sovereignty. What a bunch of phonies. Fake patriotism is what that is. They wrap themselves in the flag, but they're not remotely interested in benefiting this country, only themselves. This says, Nick, have you seen that the new regime's anti-woke police have removed the Enola Gay from the US Air Force's photo archives? No, come on, they haven't done anything of the sort. I mean, presumably because of the gay part. Well, I wouldn't be remotely surprised. I would not be surprised. Yeah, that plane was woke. Coventry. Hello, Rachel.
Oh, hello.
Oh, Rachel, I've just seen what time it is. Can I pause and come back to you in just a moment? Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you.
What a cooperative customer.
Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbot. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
Well, let's get back to it.
And by it, we mean Rachel. Yes, Rachel.
I've been called worse, thanks. That response to that AI question, there was a lot of words where it could just be summarised with yes.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I was calling up because I wanted, wanted a very strong word, but I wanted to talk about the link between Donald Trump, Elon Musk, Putin and Andrew Tate. And I think it's hair.
Hair?
Hair, yeah. H-A-I-R. Am I mispronouncing like Carol?
Hair. Yes, hair,
yeah.
Donald. Yes, hair.
I don't wear a toupee.
Doesn't wear a toupee.
And I think there's an obvious link between all of them and between lack of hair or hair transplants or, the toupee. And I think the link has got to be because of their obvious insecurities, either about their hair or possibly their sausages and their dingleberries.
Well, no, not one single one of them could be a member of the Rolling Stones because those guys, I don't know what it is. Maybe taking that quantity of drugs in that combination is good for the hair. I've got no idea.
Yeah, maybe the nutrients of the drugs, yeah.
Yeah,
maybe.
Exactly.
But there must be their views and their behaviour, and they've all got their issues with their hair. So
yes, I think that's well spotted there, Rachel.
Thanks. That's what I've got to say, really. I just wanted to say sausages and dingleberries as well.
Right. Well, it sounds like you said it twice. Good work. Thanks a lot. Cheers, my dear. 0345 6060 973. Sausages and dingleberries. Sausages and dingleberries, by the way, are the safe space words that me and Carol yell in moments of great alarm.
Oh, right, yeah.
By which I mean when we stray towards anything political. Because she's insane and I am completely grounded, so we can never agree about anything. And so just before it starts to develop into a fight, we yell out our safe space words, and then we have to immediately start talking about a prearranged topic. It works. It really does. Easter, I suppose, will be the next event at which perhaps many members of your family of all different ages will be around the same table. It's possible. And in that moment, great danger rests. And so if you decide at the beginning of the evening, before your racist uncle or auntie gets going, after they've had just one too many booze, then I would recommend that you try that. Everybody has to agree, and you write a topic down on a piece of paper, put it in a bowl in the middle of the table, and when somebody strays into a territory that is going to ruin the evening, then somebody shouts out their safe space words. You don't have to make it sausages or dingleberries, that's just mine and Carol's. A prearranged safe space word, and then you have to pick a topic out of the bowl, and everybody has to start talking about that. And I will, by that method, have saved Easter.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Let's see now. Oldbury. Hello, Ranjit.
Hi, mate. You okay?
Yes, good, thanks.
I think you need a safe word with me, don't you, sometimes when I start making you put your hand over the red button to cut me off.
Yeah, well, I'll just cut you off. That's that's my guarantee to you.
Yeah. Right, at the moment, right, 20% of the Reform MPs have gone, haven't they? Yeah, because that should be a headline tomorrow. Reform loses 20% of its MPs, right, as Nigel Farage fights for his life as a leader of the party.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. I'll tell you what the headline tomorrow should be.
The arguments that UKIP stands for aren't valid.
Or
we've got a few idiots in our party.
Or
we are thick. We are stupid.
Yeah. Or
Nigel Farage is not fit and proper to be in government.
Yeah, maybe that one.
Nigel Farage is not fit and proper to be in government.
One more time, Nigel.
Nigel Farage is not fit and proper to be in government.
Yeah, that one.
Yeah, so at the moment, when he was like kissing Donald Trump, and now I think that relationship might be slightly on the rocks, because Elon Musk did put the knives in for, Uncle Nigel Farage, So I think things are going to start moving in different directions. When you ask what has Putin got on Trump. I think I might have nailed it. I think what they've got is a pact, right? He'll rule one half of the world, Trump, and Putin will rule the other half, right? And the fly in the ointment is Europe at the moment, right? And they've been trying to make Europe fight against each other.
Yes.
And I think Trump and Putin are having a good go at it, right?
And the kingpin at the moment is Hungary, right? On which side does Hungary going to go on? And I've been watching it very, very carefully, and I've been discussing it with a few people, right, of what the master plan is. You know, when you say a Bond villain, right? There's two Bond villains. There's Putin and Trump, right? And then you got people like Elon Musk that's floating between the two of them, like he's friends with China, he's friends with South Africa, he's friends everywhere. And we don't know which one of them in that love triangle is going to put a knife, you know, like what they did with Julius Caesar.
Yeah, I can't think that any of this is going to end up well for Elon Musk. I just got a feeling about that. Either Donald Trump is going to do a Putin and lock Elon Musk up and take all of his money, which I bet has occurred to Donald Trump on a daily basis. How can I get that guy's money? I bet he's thinking about that all the time. Or it's just in some other way he's going to cross the wrong person because he's such an egomaniac, is Elon Musk. He's just strutting around giving it the big I am all the time, and he's going to do it to the wrong person, and it's going to end up badly for him. I think Donald Trump, having made a pact with the devil, will be just fine for the rest of his ridiculous life. And rootin' tootin' shooting Putin? Well, I don't know.
No, you know, I agree with you there, right? The thing is, you know, like Nigel Farage, right? Because people are favouring the guy that's just resigned from the party, right?
Are they? Who is favouring?
You know the one, the MP that's had
Rupert Lowe.
Yeah. Rupert Lowe, right? Rupert Lowe. You know, according to Trump and the Americans, would make a fine leader of the party.
Yeah, well,
right?
they only said that because they don't know anything about Rupert Lowe or Nigel Farage. I mean, I would challenge anybody in this country to pick Rupert Lowe out of a lineup. You wouldn't be able to do it. Nigel Farage, on the other hand, I disagree with absolutely everything that he has ever said on any subject, but there's no doubt about it, he has got charisma.
He has, and if you knock his charisma, right, that's where he gets wound up, and that's where, what's his name, Trump gets wound. That's the similarities. If you keep him buttering up Trump, right, you can have him eating out your hand, right? And if I met Trump, I'd say, yeah, you know, how's your boss? He says, what you mean he's my boss? I say, you know, he probably thinks I'm talking about his missus. No, Elon Musk. That is what winds these people up.
If you met Donald Trump, first of all, I find that vanishingly unlikely. Yeah. And second, if your opening remark was to slag him off and say that Elon Musk is his boss, then I think that special services will be wrestling you to the ground and carting you away in a bag, Ranjit.
I know, but that's what I mean. These people, right, you know, who got ego, right? If you go against their ego, right, that's where it goes wrong for them. Now,
a dictator hates to be laughed at. That is absolutely true. And Donald Trump hates being laughed at. He likes to be in the centre of attention, but doesn't like being ridiculed. And I think that's what's coming next.
Out of all the people, right, that have challenged him, the best way is the Canadian Justin Trudeau. He said, "Oi, Donald, listen, mate." Basically, he spoke. He said, what you're doing is wrong, right? And that's where the next day you woke up and you thought, hang on, that next door neighbour of mine, Justin Trudeau, has had a right go at me, right? And, you know, fuel prices are going up and he's changed his mind.
Yeah, no, that's not the reason why he changed his mind.
Well, you know the stocks. You know when you mentioned he buys loads of stocks, and then when the price goes down.
Well, I didn't say that. I posed it as a potential way of making a lot of money. If you were running a country and you were as unhinged as Donald Trump, then you could short some stock in a country that you were about to announce a trade war with, and then you could make money as that stock plummeted, and then the very next day you could announce that you were cancelling those tariffs, and the stock would go all the way back up again, and you could make money go on the way of it going down, and you could make money on the way it comes up. But you'd have to know ahead of time what was going to happen.
I agree with the principle, right? But he's changing his mind, like, not even in 24 hours, right? He announces everything, right? And when he goes to meet the guys in the white coats, they say, "Oi, Donny, listen, Donny, I think you've gone wrong, mate.
Right, that's never going to happen either. Your imagination is getting the best of you, Ranjit.
Maybe I should be the president of the USA.
Well,
man,
why
because,
not? Go give it a go, yeah. All right, okay, good work. Thanks a lot, mate. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, dictators hate to be laughed at because it breaks the spell. I'm betting the following. Donald Trump is not leaving at the end of his term. Absolutely no way that is happening. There will be public executions by the time of the time of the end of his first term, where it should end. In other words, within 4 years, there will be public executions, probably on national television in America. He will instruct his people to shoot into protesters in crowds. He will send his troops to support Vladimir Putin. I bet he does that. I bet he takes his troops out of Germany and sends them into Russia. And he's going to rain down a shower of lawsuits on comedians for being mean to him. And it doesn't matter whether the lawsuits actually win or not. He's going to use America's money to fight Americans with. He'll be using their tax dollars to fight them with, which means he will have an unlimited amount of money because he's going to use America as a weapon, which is a great advantage for a leader if you don't care about your people. And he doesn't. I mean, he said it over and over again. I only want your votes once. I don't care about it after that because we're going to fix it. If you don't care about the people that in the country that you're leading, it gives you a tremendous advantage over almost every other country on earth whose leaders do care. I mean, it might be only caring for their own self-interest because they or their party is going to rely on their votes at the next election. But if you genuinely don't care about the people in your country, then it gives you such an advantage.
Leading Britain's conversation. Nick Abbot. Alexa, send a comment to LBC.
And I like him. He's a good man. He is not a racist. I can tell you that. He's a good person.
Thanks, Donny. You're the best. You're the best, worst person currently alive. Ashford. Hello, Lenny.
Good morning, Nick.
Lenny.
Yeah, well, we'll start with an agreement. That I agree with you. The Americans have not been our friends for a very long time.
No, I didn't say that. I said they're not our friends now.
Well, I don't think they've been friends for a very long time, and the writing's been on the wall.
What writing?
Well, how many Americans died in the Falklands War?
I'm unfamiliar with the number, but I'm going to guess it's close to zero.
You're correct. When we needed help in the Falklands War, they turned their back on us.
Did we need help?
Yes, we did. Because if the Argentinians knew that America was coming as well as us, then they would have left the island a lot quicker.
Maybe they looked at the distance between Britain and the Falklands and Argentina and the Falklands and thought, well, maybe the Argentinians have got a point.
Well, I mean, who was right or wrong is, you can take your own pick. But when we needed help there, America was nowhere to be seen.
Well,
and ever since then, I think our politicians have been American lapdogs.
Yes, I'll agree with that. Yeah, our special relationship is basically they tell us what to do and we say yes.
That is correct. I agree with you there.
And I think a better point would have been we have helped America no end of times. And the accusation that, what has NATO ever done for us? Trump said, he said if the US was in trouble and we called on them, France, do you think they're going to come and protect us? Well, yes, evidence proves that they would because they did already. 9/11.
Yeah, well, I mean, when they insult us regarding our fighting ability, I mean, no one actually said regarding Vance and Trump how many bullets did you fire in anger?
Yeah,
Because
zero.
one was a coward and didn't go in the army at all. Trump, he avoided it.
Yeah.
And Vance was only a photographer.
Was he? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
A photographer, right.
Yeah.
Yes, no, I completely agree with not every word, Lenny, let's be honest. Not all of them, but let's say 96% of the words that you've uttered, I agree completely with. How does that sound?
Well, that's a nice start to the day.
Isn't it just? Yes.
Yeah.
Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Lenny. 0345 6060 973. Yeah, Trump said that if the US was in trouble and we called them, do you think they're going to come and protect us? I'm not so sure, said Donald Trump. I mean, his ignorance of world events is just unparalleled. The following NATO member states participated in military operations in Afghanistan under the NATO-led International Security Assistance Force. This was after 9/11. After which Donald Trump boasted that he now had the tallest building in New York because the World Trade Center had been knocked down. That was his response, Donald Trump's response to the 9/11 attacks. Oh, I've got the tallest building in New York now. And the American people thought, yeah, he's just the chap to lead us. Countries that exercised Article 5 to help the United States of America. We did. Great Britain, no less. Oh, this song. Is this on King Charles' playlist? We did, Canada did, France, Germany, Italy, the Netherlands, Belgium, Denmark, Norway, Spain, Portugal, Turkey, Greece, Czech Republic, Poland, Hungary, Slovakia, Slovenia, Romania, Bulgaria, Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania and Iceland. And Croatia. And Luxembourg and Albania. And I know what you're thinking.
What?
Luxembourg? Apparently so, yeah. Banking services, no doubt. But yeah, all of those countries helped you, Donny. And if only you knew a thing or two about a thing or two, the world might be in safer hands. Sadly. Carlisle, Gavin.
How you doing, Nick?
Good, thanks.
I just wanted to call and tell you about this movie I watched tonight, Mickey 17, and just you are going to love it. It's absolutely hilarious, and I'm sure you referred to it in your show multiple times.
I've seen lots of posters for it, but I don't know anything about it. Don't tell me anything about the story. No spoilers.
I'll not give any spoilers, but I'll give you some bits of it. There's this character in it.
Okay, you've told me too much.
What?
You've told already too much. A character?
There's a character who's a hybrid between an Elon Musk and a Trump and all of your despot, dictator, lunatic, rich people all rolled into one. They've got this character, Mark Ruffalo plays him, who played the Incredible Hulk, and he absolutely knocks it out the park.
All right, well, I will put it on my list, my viewing list. Excellent work. Thanks a lot, Gavin. No spoilers.
Warning, warning.
No spoilers. Bambi's mother gets shot. Oh. Damn it, I couldn't keep it in. Pete from Finland says, Finland is a Nordic country, not a Scandinavian country. Also this, exclamation mark. Due to the rise in the price of cocoa, Cadbury have once again increased the price of Freddo bars to 35 pence each.
What?
This price came into effect from March 2025, with stores including ourselves being sent packets with 35p price marked on them, says Pete. I'm very upset to hear that, Pete. I have no idea what a Freddo bar is, but I'm sure it is delicious in every way. Anne says, Jen was spot on with her call about Russia not getting credit for winning World War II and always being demonised. You are ridiculing any caller that does not agree with what you think about Trump or Russia. What's so wrong about wanting peace with Ukraine and Russia, asks Anne. Absolutely nothing whatsoever, Anne. And if Vladimir Putin stopped sending missiles in and troops firing bullets, then peace would break out immediately. What's so wrong about that? And this text says, Nick, the answer to your call of grace as to why we are not grateful to Russia is because they started World War II with Hitler. They only changed sides when Hitler attacked them. At the end, Stalin did get all that he wanted, so yes, they did win the war, but there is nothing much to be grateful for, especially from Eastern Europeans who then still suffered up to 1989. Yeah, the stuff you hear on this show, eh? This says, my lawyer and I are still agog and reeling from everything about it is bonkers. The latter's destructive head case opinions needs actionable close scrutiny. I've got no idea what this is about. Have a wonderful fin de semaine and beyond. The pair of you, Nick Hardy et toi, smilingly and obnoxiously innocuous, reeking a path not of primroses, however, but black-purple Scots thistles. I mean, for crying out loud, why have you sent that for me to read on the air? I'm sorry. That's the message just come from next door. He's very apologetic.
I am very sorry that I screwed up. Totally I mean, I am so sorry. You just don't know how sorry I am. I'm sorry.
Yeah, he's very sorry. I wonder what this next one's going to be like. Do you think it'll be worth reading?
No.
Franz said, hi, Nick, just on a train, bored, so I looked at Facebook and what I thought was a press conference in the White House popped up. Took me 5 minutes to realise it wasn't the White House Oval Office. It was a live camera from a zoo's monkey enclosure. And etc. So no is the answer that I posed some moments ago.
No.
No, not worth reading. This says, I know you haven't even considered my text. Still love you. Wish you get a knighthood soon, and it's still not raining in Glasgow. Well, that's just nonsense. Of course it is. Look out the window. And this says, Nick, basically we're living in 1984, the original story, in which the formation of an autocracy in the US and the UK is explained. Oh, a book.
Boring.
Do they still make those now?
Nick Abbott on LBC. Call 0345 6060 973.
We are running late. This text says, basically, Putin is ready to put Russian peacemakers in Ukraine in exchange for 40% minerals rights. 40? What, not more than 50? Putin assured Ukraine that their deal is much better than those offered by Europe and the US, and it will bring everlasting peace. Says that message. Yeah, I mean, that sounds believable. Everlasting peace. Anybody believe that?
No.
Not really, no. Jake in Bath says, Channel 4 had some great stuff for us younger millennials, the last generation raised on traditional linear TV, the In-Betweeners par example. The In-Betweeners has got to be 20 years old, isn't it? At least that. Or about that. What have they done since then? Archie in Inverness says, speaking of Channel 4, one of my favourite programmes was After Dark, the open-ended late-night discussion show. Who can forget Ollie Reed causing chaos after having imbibed industrial amounts of alcohol in the green room?
Booze.
Yeah, I remember that well. He was not very popular with... and the thing is, I can't remember any of the other people who were on that show, but you can remember Ollie Reed. And he was berating people around the table. And then he got up as though to leave. And the relief that swept around the table was palpable, even on TV. But he wasn't... he didn't leave at all. All he'd done was to go over to where the booze was to pick up more bottles. And he came back with not one, but 3, to my recollection.
Oh, no.
Yeah. And this text says, Road Dreams is a series of 6 television programmes, each of approximately 25 minutes in duration, last shown on British terrestrial television in the early 1990s on Channel 4. Yeah, it was one of the best things I ever saw on TV, and they never repeated it. It's a big shame. It was a beautiful thing. It wasn't a story about anything. They were just images that he had taken on his road trip across America, set to music like... And it's not like it's not actually Ry Cooder, but it's like that. kind of ambient type music. So it was a wonderful thing. They never showed it twice. So I remember being absolutely captivated by that. Let's have a call in North Wales, in a place that Chuck is going to have to pronounce for me. Go ahead, Chuck.
Hi. Clandid Wells. I'm not good at it myself.
No, you can say that again. Wow, that is terrible. I mean, if you were lost and you asked a local, can you tell me where? Go ahead.
Tell me where I originally from the States.
No, tell me where you pronounce where you're from in this gap here.
Clandid not.
Right. Okay. You'd never get home. You'd be permanently lost for the rest of your life. Nobody would have any idea what you're saying.
I've just had a tooth extraction, so I'm not able to speak very well. But
okay.
I just wanted to tell you that I agree with you completely of everything that you've been saying so far about Trump.
That seems a bit indiscriminate on your part.
Well, the sad part is that I was born in America, and now I'm ashamed to be an American now. But I also agree with you that he may somehow or other wind up being in for more than another 4 years.
He ain't leaving. No.
We're in scary times.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. Yes, we certainly are. Yeah, he's going to send troops to support Russia. Live executions on national television. Shooting into crowds of protesters, probably on a campus, and Crosby, Stills and Nash are going to have to rewrite that song. And there's going to be lawsuits raining down on comedians' heads.
Yeah. No, it's. I'll tell you, I'm just glad that I'm now on my way out. I feel sorry for the children today.
Yeah. Well, you're fortunate to be living in, where is it?
Clandridnod Wells. Wells,
right.
Yeah.
So you're fortunate to be living there because there's absolutely no way that Donald Trump will be able to find you where you're living right now. Thousands and thousands of miles away. Take comfort from that, Chuck.
Yeah. Anyway,
right.
keep up the good work.
I'll do my very best. What else am I going to do? Stuck here with this mess. All right. Thanks a lot, mate. That's Chuck in Clandrindod. Oh, never mind. This text says, research has shown that rodents perform CPR on each other. Recent research has shown that rodents perform CPR on each other. If they're that clever, they can use a toilet, so why not provide a few Minnie Mouse toilets to avoid any droppings? Well, that's a good idea.
In the realm where dreams arise, dandelions kiss the skies. In poems and tales they fly free, symbols of boundless liberty. Dandelions whisper in the breeze, a journey beyond with effortless ease. so bright, dandelion dreams take flight. Bound by Northern Mere paper, in journeys to realms greater, in every flutter, every turn, a freedom that forever burns. So bright, dandelion dreams take flight.
Is this real life or am I hallucinating? This says, if only the president of Ukraine wore the correct type of clothing, surely the entire course of history would have been changed and he should have apologized to America for what he was wearing. It says that anonymous text. Now, I've got no idea who sent that, but I do know that you're an idiot, if that's any help. Dave the Trucker from Dorset says, hi, Nick, is this the best that the USA can offer? JDI Mascara Vance, Elon Musk brandishing a chainsaw around, and Donald Orange Trump, says Dave the Trucker, who probably didn't pull over while he was texting that. And Laurie and Cheam says, how about Donald Trump to star in EastEnders? He could run the Queen Vic as Dirty Don. And his wife could be called Orangie. What would Trump beer taste like? Any thoughts?
Disgusting.
Yeah, I bet it was pretty awful. Yeah. The Great Taste of Donny? No thanks. The Great Taste of Donny, Melania?
I don't care.
She's not that bothered, no. Reading between the lines, it's a no from her. And furthermore...
No.
No. So, you know, the future of Europe may be decided by France. The future of Europe does not have to be decided by Donald Trump or Vlad the Insaner, said Emmanuel Macron. And he suggested that France could use its nuclear deterrent to protect the continent. Merci. The French president also raised the possibility of sending European troops to Ukraine to enforce a peace deal in response to Donald Trump's upending of the transatlantic alliance. Macron said the French were legitimately worried about the start of a new era and called for a united front to stand up to Russia and Trump too. It comes as Trump began his stint in the White House by reversing U.S. policy on Ukraine and risking an historic rupture with Europe by switching sides and collaborating with the enemy. And after Zelensky was ambushed by Shady Vance and Adolf Hitler, Trump's done the usual and vowed revenge for being slighted. He wants revenge for having someone who's not a billionaire refusing to do what he wants. Zelensky didn't wear a suit, didn't accept a terrible deal that would make Al Capone blush. It was so one-sided. And Donny didn't get his weirdly small hands on the billions of dollars of minerals that have lit up his eyes since somebody told them about him. And so, in what looks like the actions of an enemy, Washington has since cut off intelligence sharing with Kyiv, which has probably directly led to the bombing of a hotel and apartment blocks, which killed people and maimed people because the Ukrainians didn't know the rockets were coming, so couldn't protect themselves. That'll teach him to come in dressed like that, eh, Donny? Emmanuel Macron said on Wednesday, I want to believe that the US will stay by our side, but we have to be prepared for that not to be the case. Well, it isn't the case. But it's nice to hear a leader actually say that out loud, because Skier is still pretending like it ain't necessarily so. It's not the case. The US will not stay by our side, and we have to act accordingly. Donald Trump has taken over America to run it as he ran his businesses. Badly. And it will probably end badly, just like most of his businesses. The failed ones I could not read in full in a brief 3-hour show. But, until it goes down, there will be a lot of people that get hurt, just like all of his other business failures. And Don Donny will probably get off scot-free because that is his special talent, getting away with it.
I can be more presidential than anybody.
Macron described Russia as a threat to France and Europe and said that he had decided to open the strategic debate on the protection of our allies on the European continent by our nuclear deterrent. What's the point of having a nuclear deterrent if you don't threaten to use it? I bet that ours wouldn't work. I mean, there's a lot of suggestion now that we wouldn't be able to maintain a nuclear deterrent without America's help and spare parts and knowledge and all the rest of it. But I bet if it came down to it, and one of our submarine commanders smashed his fist down on the big red button marked go, I bet nothing would happen. Anybody want to take that bet? Let's give it a go and see what occurs. Macron said the use of France's nuclear weapons would remain only in the hands of the French president, which sounds odd to even have to say that. But, we in this country are dependent on the unreliable partner of America for our nuclear deterrent. We rely on them for servicing and maintenance and parts and supply, and Trump could turn off our biggest defence on a whim, just like he appears to do everything else. We have to get out from under that man's shadow. Donald Trump is not our friend. And when asked about this, a Number 10 spokesmodel said, the UK has a long-standing close relationship with the US on all defensive and nuclear issues. Our extant long-term arrangements provide for cooperation and collaboration, which has been and continues to be of considerable mutual benefit to both nations, which is a lot of syllables signifying nothing. Hey, wake up! I hate to break the news to you, but arrangements matter less to Don Donny than marriage vows. He'll use America as a weapon to get what he personally wants. If we think that because America has always helped us out with our nuclear stockpile that we can rely on Trump to keep doing that, then we need our collective heads examining. Meanwhile, France confirmed that Macron and Starmer could accompany Zelensky to the White House. Teaming up on him. And I bet that Trump would cancel that meeting because he'll be frightened that he might not get to talk all the time and drown 3 world leaders out. And Trump said that he had received strong signals from the Kremlin that they are ready for peace. Wow, I'm convinced. It's like a man in a van asking if you want a lift and telling you to hop in the back. Next thing you know, you're in a well and he's telling you to put the lotion in the basket. It puts the lotion in the basket or it gets the hose again. 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 Hose again.